we've put in all the figures from the trial balance, all the operating expenses, starting with rates and taxes, salaries, insurance, with the amounts on our answer sheet, and let's look at what it will look like now. So there we've got them, the rates and taxes, salaries, insurance, etc., with the amounts. So we're done with the trial balance. Now we need to move on and start looking at the adjustments. So let's get back to the question paper. And there the first adjustment is A, the sale of goods. Sonopo or debtor returned stock with a cost. Important, that's why I'm highlighting it. Not the selling. Normally they give us the selling. You've got to read carefully. They like to catch you out. So the cost is 750 and the markup is 60%. It has not been recorded. This adjustment always there. So make sure you know how to do it. Just read it carefully so that you can actually be able to do it. So let's go to the calculation. So A is the returns not recorded. Let's look at what transactions that would be. If it's returns not recorded, it means it's a normal DAJ that hasn't been recorded. Now DAJ has got two columns, one for debtors allowance and one for cost of sales. Now the debtors allowance at year end, we put it to sales, we deduct the sales with it, so we can say it is going to be between sales and who is it that gets affected? The debtor. So it is debtors control the other account. Right, so that is the first transaction on the DAJ. The sales, they give me the cost of sales, so I'll have to calculate sales. To do that, I'll use that grade 9 formula, and that is selling price equals cost price times the 100 plus the markup divided by 100. So let's do that. The cost price, they say, is 750. So it is 750. Let's just make that like that. 750 times 100 plus the markup, which gives me, okay, that should be a plus, let's just fix it. Say 100 plus the markup is 60, so it's 160, and that I've got to divide by 100. So if I take 750 times 160, get an answer, divide it by 100, it should then give me 1,200. Let's just get back there. Yes, 1,200. Good. It is a return. In other words, it will make my sales less. The direct debtor returns goods. He will owe me also less. So I will make sales less with 1,200 and debtors less with 1,200. Second part is between cost of sales, the second column on the DAJ, and that always goes with trading stock. That is given. It is 750. We're returning goods, so we will reverse the cost of sales. In other words, make it less with 750. So you can remember, if you do that calculation, if it's a return not yet recorded, you will always make your sales less with the selling value and your cost of sales less with the cost price. So we got the stock back, so our trading stock will become more. Good. Now I've got to look at what will affect my income statement. If I look at sales, yes, that is on the income statement. Debtors control is not there, but I may need the figure later. And cost of sales is also there, and trading stock not. So I've got sales minus 1,200 and cost of sales minus 750. So let's go back to the income statement. So I've got a minus 1,200 from sales, and I've got a minus the 750 from cost of sales. Good, so that is all I need to do at this stage. Number B is the bad debts and provision for bad debts. Now, if B handles with the bad debts, they tell me a debtor Zulu was declared bankrupt. His estate paid 60 cents, important, I highlight it, for every cent in the rand. The amount of 9,000 was received, but not recorded. So that is also quite important, because it means whatever he paid, he also did not record, so we must still reduce the debtor with that amount, and the balance must be written off. So let's put in whatever we've got and calculate what must be written off. Okay, so the bad debts. So we received 9,000, and that equals 60 cents in the rand. So what must be written off? What must be written off is the difference between what we received, which is 60 cents, and 1 rand. So 1 rand minus 60 cents gives me 40 cents must be written off. I must now try and calculate how much that will be. So to do that, I'm going to use whatever I received. So I received 9,000, and that equals something times 60 cents. So that is what I said at the top. 9,000 equals 60 cents. So that will then mean that the total will be 9,000, and I just turn those two around, times 100 over 60. 9,000 times 100 over 60 gives me 15,000. So that is the total that he owed me. But of that, he paid 9,000. So now I've got to take that 50,000 minus the 9,000 that he paid, and that will give me what must be written off. So it is 15,000 minus the 9,000 gives me 6,000. If I write something off, it's got to go to bad debts. So let's get back to bad debts. So the bad debts, we've got to write off a further amount, so that 6,000 must be added to bad debts. Right, let's look at the next adjustment that we need to do. That is C. We've got to adjust the bad debts of debtors, a provision for bad debts with 4% of outstanding debtors. Now that is easy enough. It is simply taking whatever the debtors control figure is, and that I will find on my trial balance. So the debtors control, go back up, there it is, debtors control 60,900. So my debtors control is 60,900. But now I've got to be careful. That 60,900, I must first check any of the previous adjustments did any of them affect it. Yes. That first one, I said the debtor will become 1,200 less, the amount that he returned. So I must still minus that from the 60,900. The bad debts, yes, also. He made a payment of 9,000 that is not recorded. Remember, they said it's not recorded, so I must still deduct that. If he paid, he will owe me less. And I must also deduct the amount that I've got to write off still, the 6,000, or I could simply say minus 15. So if I do that calculation, it should give me 44,700. So the new debtors figure is 44,700. Now on that, I must work out how much is 5%. 5 over 100. Is it 5? No, 4%. 4 over 100. I got that from the actual question. They tell me 4% of the debtors must be a provision for bad debt. So 4%, and that gives me 1,788. So my new adjustment should be for 1,788. I must now compare that to what the current figure is. To find out what the current figure is, I must go back to the trial balance. Go back, go and look for provision for bad debt. There it is. It's 2,560. But that is not what it should be, because it should now be, let's just put it in, should be, it should be the new figure of 1,788 that I calculated. So I must work out the difference. So my adjustment should then be the difference between the two. 2560 minus 1788 gives me 772. Okay, so that is the adjustment. But this adjustment can either be an income or an expense. Now, if we have to make it more, it means it's bad, it will be an expense. But in this case, it was more than what it should be. So we've got to make it less. Now, less is good in this case, and that good is an income. So it will be an income of 772. So I'll go back to my income statement under operating income. I'll put in provision for bad debt. But important, it is not the provision itself, it is the adjustment to that. So it's provision for the bad debt adjustment. It is very important that I indicate that it is the adjustment. If I only put in the provision for bad debt, it means provision for bad debt is a negative asset. It should go onto the balance sheet, not the income statement. Not only will it be marked wrong, but it will be considered a foreign entry, in other words, an entry that does not belong here, and you will get a -1 for it. F -1, important with the financial statements, the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. Any incorrect entry or any entry that should not be there will not only be wrong, but also negative. So be careful what you put in there. Good, so I can just show what I did. I took the 1560, important, that was what was on the trial balance. Always show your calculation, you get marks there. So if I only take whatever was on the trial balance, I'll already get 1 mark. Then minus whatever I calculated, which was the 1788. So even if I did the calculation incorrect, this is a given figure, so I should get that mark. And then also get the mark for the answer that I put in the amount column, which was 772. Okay, let's just fix this column quickly. So very important that we actually show our calculation, because if not, we will simply get 0 marks. In this case, you would get 1 for the 2560 and 1 for whatever answer you got, even if you had that one wrong. So you get 2 out of maybe 4. Income statement, one of the questions that you can never leave out. There is a lot of free marks in there. All these items that you already put in can all be marks, and then whatever adjustments you make, even if you get them wrong but you get the answer, you can also still get a calculation mark. So never leave it out. Right, let's move on to the next adjustment. Let's see what the next one is. So we've done A, B, and C. It is insurance. Insurance premiums were paid until the 31st of May. And so, first thing that we need to figure out, how many months did we pay? So we're going to draw